You're welcome again today to Shade Right. Today I'll be giving you a narrative of this drawing and I'll be showing you some things you need to do to make your drawings realistic. First, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as I've always been saying that it promises to give you value, to bring you value always. And let's begin with this. The first thing to do when you want to make a realistic drawing is that you need to understand good shading. You don't rely so much on blending materials like blending stump, brush, and so on. You need to understand that you should learn correct shading. Now let's take a brief look at what you should do. This particular one, I've shaded it and I blended it. Makes it easier to write the details, but let me show you a brief detail about drawing. Well, this drawing in particular is what I made with charcoal, but here I will show you graphite and I will show you charcoal pencil. This is natural 2B. So when you shade, you want to balance your pressure so that your shading appears smooth even before you use any blending tool on it. The method I'm using presently is the arching method. So you want to shade so that your shading is smooth in itself, not that you want to cover up a bad shading with the use of blending materials. No. And then you should learn to shade in layers. Now me going in another direction now brings it to being cross arching. You should not underestimate the power of good shading. When you have good shading, you can be sure that you will need little blending and your drawing will appear smooth. So this is for graphite. Now I will show you how I shade with charcoal. This is actually the charcoal pencil graphite that I used for this drawing. So when you want to make something like that, ensure that your pencil is well sharpened. And you know charcoal is a bit trickier than graphite. So hold your pencil in a way that you can control your pressure very well. For most of us, we would like to hold it at the end like this. That's why I extended this so that it will be easier. But anyway, I can hold it at the edge and still balance my pressure. So you cross arch too. So once you understand good shading, you will be very surprised at the results you would have. So let's leave the aspect of shading. So I've talked about shading as one of the things you need to understand if you want realism in your drawing. Now let's move on. I will explain a brief things about this. Now I see many of us, we do not achieve realism, but we want to start adding details to our drawings. That should not be done. You should take things one step at a time. Now look at, let me show. Okay, this part, the light part, is the highlight. Now when you look at the highlight and you look at this dark part, you see that it is in such a subtle way. It's not just an immediate transition. It's not, when I talk about the transition, it's not something like going from the light and then there is a demarcation for this. No, you shouldn't do this. Instead, it should be in such a subtle way. Let me show you. You can see how I've actually gone from dark to light without an obvious demarcation between the tones. So that is what you should also learn. Once you learn how to move in a subtle manner between tones, you are good to go. Now that's what I've explained. Now when you shade with your charcoal or graphite, you either want to make use of blending tools like blending stump, brush. Basically I use brush and tissue paper. Now sometimes some other artists may want to use powder to blend. Yeah, that is why I made this particular one where I showed some details on it. It's because I've blended with powder here, so it makes it easier to add details. That is what I see as the essence of making use of powder. You don't have to rely excessively on the use of powder, and as I said earlier, or on the use of blending tools. Now, one of the things I also discovered recently, I might make a video on that. I'm actually on a challenge of drawing without using any blending tool, and it's been a quite interesting journey so far. I also realized that it's easier, very much easier, when you don't blend. It's easier to use your mono zero eraser to detail your works. I've come to understand that too, when you don't blend at all or when you use powder. So I'm actually enjoying the journey, but I will show you the details in one of my videos soon. So okay, this is the charcoal. I believe you are learning one or two things, and if you have any question, please do let me know in the comment section. Now, any other thing you need to know here is basically, now for the ear, explain the ear. I just went, if you have seen my last video how to draw ear, you understand that I go in bits. Maybe just do a small part first, add the details, go to another part, add the details, until I'm actually able to complete everything that I want to add. Now explain the subtleness and transition of tones. That is it. And also one other thing is, in this part where I added details, I think one of the things I've come to realize is that when I shade, after shading, let's assume this part now, let's assume you have used your blending tool on it. One of the things I think, if you want to add details before you blend, I find it easier to add details. Add your details before you blend, then blend everything together, and then you can bring in your mono zero eraser, and then you add the highlights close to the marks you have added. I do hope you have learned one or two things in today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.